Yes, I know, this is a branding video, but hold that contradiction for a second because this is the entire point. Here is what I'm going to prove you in the next minutes. The reason your content looks generic has nothing to do with your skill, nothing to do with your gear, your editing, your lighting, or whether you finally found the right niche. You could fix every one of those things tomorrow and still blend straight into the wallpaper, because the thing making you forgettable isn't a lack of anything, it's a surplus of advice. And the cruelest part, the part nobody tells you, is that the one thing that would make you impossible to ignore is already inside you, right now. You just can't see it because you're standing too close, but let me show you. Let's start by killing the lies you've been sold about why your stuff isn't landing. Lie number 1, you're not skilled enough yet, so you buy another course. Lie number 2, you don't have the right equipment, so you buy the camera, the mic, the lights. Lie number 3, you're not consistent enough, so you grind out 3 posts a day until you quietly start to hate the thing you used to love. And here's the trap inside all of it. Every single one of them is fixable, which is exactly what makes them feel like the answer. You can always get more skilled, buy more gear, post more often, so you chase them forever. But think about the creators who actually stop you mid-scroll this week. Were they the most polished, the most technically perfect? Not necessarily. Half of them were filmed on a phone, in a kitchen, with the lighting God gave them. What they had wasn't production value. It was a point of view so specific, it felt like you were reaching someone's actual brain. That's the thing you can't buy. And that's the thing no curse teaches, because a curse by its very nature can only teach you what already worked, for someone who isn't you. Which brings us to the real problem. Here's a question almost nobody stops to ask. Where does branding advice actually comes from? It comes from looking backwards. Somebody did a thing, the thing worked, and then they reverse engineered it into tips. Hook them in the first 3 seconds. Use this exact thumbnail formula. Pick a content pillar you never deviate. And none of that is wrong exactly. It's just the autopsy of something that already happened. Advice is a set of instructions for becoming more like a thing that already exists. That's literally what it is. So every time you observe another piece of best practice branding wisdom, you're very gently sanding off the edges that make you, and nudging yourself one step closer to the dead center of the herd. Now multiply that, because you're not the only person watching these videos. 10,000 other people watched the same expert say the same sentence this morning. You all learned the same hook structure, the same color psychology, the same authentic 3-act story arc. So, you all show up looking shockingly similar, and then you sit there wondering why you feel invisible. You're not invisible because you're doing it wrong. You're visible because you're doing it right, the same right as everybody else. Now, this is the part where I'm supposed to hand you a better formula, and I'm not going to. Because a better formula is still a formula, and a formula is still a recipe for sameness. What I'm going to do instead is point you at the one source of material in the entire universe that is, by definition, impossible to copy. The one thing no competitor, no algorithm, and no better funded creator can ever replicate is what you, specifically, have lived through. Your competitor can buy your camera, they can clone your color grade, they can rip your exact thumbnail. What they cannot do is have been in the room you were in. They cannot have made the specific, stupid, expensive mistake you made. They cannot have the strange obsession you developed when you were 11, or the job that broke you, or the thing you understand in your bones because you paid for that understanding with actual pain. That's your material, not your niche. That's your life. Let me make this concrete. 2 fitness creators, same workout, same physique, same advice. The first one says, here are 5 exercises for your back. Forgettable. Gone the second you scroll. The second one says, I spent 4 years training the way a magazine told me to do. Blew out a disc, couldn't pick up my own daughter for 6 months and had to relearn everything from a physio who hated every single thing the internet had taught me. Here's what actually saved my spine. Same 5 exercises, completely different gravity. One of those is content, the other one is testimony. The difference isn't talent, it's that the second person reached into their own life instead of reaching for the playbook. In my early 20s, I felt I was creative and would make a life based on that, so I went there and graduated with a degree in marketing and publicity. 15 years passed. I'm 33 years old now. I started to work in my first year in college in an analytical business environment. Did I forget my creativity? Of course not. I used it a lot. And I also developed analytical and technical skills in myself. And how does that impacted me? That made me become someone who can discuss marketing with a focus on analytics and someone who can also understand how important it is to visualize data the right way or you'll never reach the correct insight. There is no right or wrong here. This is just my own experience. This is what I had to pass through to be here today sharing it all with you. So, if it's all sitting right there inside you, why is it so hard? Why doesn't every single creator just do it? Here's the cruel twist. Your most valuable material is invisible to you, not hidden, invisible. And it's invisible for a very specific, almost unfair reason. It's too obvious to you. There's an old line about how the fish is the last one to discover water. It's surrounded by the stuff, completely defined by it, and this is exactly why it can't see it. The things that make you genuinely different are the very things you assume everyone already knows, everyone's already done, everyone already thinks. They feel boring to you, precisely because you've been marinating in them your entire life. The skill you find easy, the one people keep coming to you for help with, you discount it. Because it's easy for you, you think, if it's this easy, it can't be worth anything. But easy for you is the literal definition of a strength. You've just been standing inside it so long you mistook it for the floor. The story you'd never tell because it's not impressive enough is usually the exact one that makes a total stranger feel seen for the first time in their life. The opinion you keep softening because it might be too much, that's the one that makes someone go, finally, a real person who gets it. The weird way you do things that you're a little embarrassed about, that isn't a flaw to hide, that's the fingerprint. And right about now, a voice in your head is saying, but nothing interesting has ever happened to me. My life is boring, I don't have some dramatic, blown out disc story. Good, listen to me. That voice is the blind spot talking. Interesting was never the bar, and dramatic was never the point. You don't need a near-death experience, you just need a real one. That afternoon you almost quit. The dumb assumption you clung to for years, the unglamorous, specific, completely true detail you'd never think to mention because it's just your Tuesday. Boring to you is fresh to them. The fact that it feels like nothing is the exact reason it's worth everything. And this is why advice can never ever give you this. Advice operates on the things you can already see and consciously choose, but your real brand lives in your blind spot. In the stuff so deeply woven into you that you don't even register it as a decision. You can strategize your way into it, because the strategy happens in a part of your mind that's already turned outward, staring at everyone else. You have to look the other way, inward, at the obvious. So, how do you actually see the water you're swimming in? You can't spot your own blind spot by staring harder. You need a way to make the invisible show up from the side. And here's the questions that do it. Sit with these. And actually write the answers down, by hand if you can, because the ones that matter will surprise you as they come out of your own pen. 1. What do people keep coming to you for? Not what you wish they came to you for, what they actually do, the thing your friends text you about, the favor you get asked for on repeat. That is a strength you've been giving away for free your whole life because it costs you nothing. 2. What did you have to learn the hard way? Map the scar tissue. Every painful, expensive, embarrassing lesson you earned is now a shortcut you can hand to somebody standing 3 steps behind you. People don't pay attention to information. They pay attention to a person who has clearly been where they are standing right now. 3. What makes you irrationally angry in your field? What do you watch everyone do that makes you want to throw your phone across the room? Your strongest, most magnetic opinions are hiding inside your irritation, and anger is just conviction that hasn't found its words yet. 4. What do you do differently that you secretly assume is wrong? The shortcut you take, the rule you quietly ignore, the unprofessional thing that honestly just works better. You've been hiding it, show it. That's the part nobody else can show because it's yours. And the 5th one ties it all together. It's a test. Take any idea you're about to make a video on and ask yourself, could the 10 biggest creators in my space have said this exactly thing? If the answer is yes, if it could have fallen out of any of their mouths, then kill it. Or drag it through your life until it couldn't. Until there's a detail in it that's only yours. A name, a place, a number, a specific Tuesday. The specific is the one thing that can never be faked. And notice what all 5 questions have in common. Not a single one of them asks you to go learn something new. Every one of them sends you backwards, into what you already are. Because you were never missing the material. You were just trained to look everywhere except the one place it actually lives. So, stop taking branding advice. Not because advice is evil, but because advice can only ever turn you into a slightly better copy of something that already exists, and you don't need to be a better copy. You need to be the original you accidentally buried under 1,000 best practices. And your content was never generic because you were lacking something. It was generic because you kept reaching outward for the answer, when the only answer that can't be stolen has been sitting inside you the entire time. Too close to see, too obvious to trust. So here's the only assignment that matters. Close this video, open a notes app, answer those 5 questions, honestly, the embarrassing parts especially. And then go make the most specific, most personal, most unrepeatable you thing you possibly can. It will feel like too much, too weird, too small, too you. And this is exactly how you will know you finally found it. The archive begins. Not mine, yours.